It's Wednesday, November 1st, and this is your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski with the latest local news, including a 17-year-old Ridgefield resident involved in a serious accident last night. We also have information on a lawsuit in Reading that has led to the police chief being put on administrative leave. Frank Rita will have a look at your forecast, and later on a Nutmeg Sports update, and Donald Eng joins us later to take a look back on this day in history. But first, a 17-year-old Ridgefield boy was transported to Danbury Hospital after he was struck by a car on Nutmeg Ridge around 7:30 p.m. last night. Now, an eyewitness said the car was rolling down the hill and the teen was trying to stop it. Firefighters on the scene said that the teen was dragged about 10 feet and was pinned under the car for quite a while before being extricated. Now, Nutmeg Ridge residents Jared and Mari Miles, who were not home at the time of the accident, said it took place in their front yard. Now, the couple told the press that the boy was visiting their neighbor who witnessed the accident. The eyewitness explained that the teen had parked his car on the side of the street and began walking away when he saw the car start to roll down the hill. The teen had reportedly forgotten to put it in park, and he ran after it and went in front of the car to try to stop it, but it picked up speed and then ran him over, wedging him between the hill and the car. Now, according to the neighbor, the boy is in stable condition. He suffered broken collarbones, bruised lungs, burns on his back, and punctures in his arms. You can follow the latest updates on that story at theridgefieldpress.com. In other news, in Reading, a family says in a lawsuit that its son did not have to die when he hanged himself at his Reading home in April 2016, and Reading Police Chief Doug Fuchs has been placed on paid leave of absence as the town investigates that claim. Now, the suit was filed by the family of Peter Valenti, who was found hanging from a noose in a shed outside his Blueberry Hill Road home on April 11, 2016. The man's body was mistaken for a dummy by the first police officer who found it. Then, according to another complaint, Fuchs refused to allow an emergency medical technician to check on Valenti, saying he was already dead. Now, in addition to Fuchs, the Reading Police Department and Reading police officers Jenna Matthews and Mark O'Donnell are also named in that lawsuit filed by Peter Valenti Jr., the father of the man. Also named as a plaintiff in the case is Joanne Valenti, the late Peter Valenti's mother. Now, Reading Town Hall received the paperwork for the lawsuit, an almost 200-page document, on Thursday, October 5th. Now, McInerney says emergency medical services technician Sean Morris had wanted to help Valenti, but Fuchs did not allow him to, saying Valenti was already dead. Now, a separate complaint almost immediately as it related to Fuchs's actions. You can get a lot more on that story at thereadingpilot.com. And in other news, Stratford police conducted an undercover internet prostitution sting, arresting 2 alleged prostitutes and 4 alleged Johns. Now, the Connecticut Post reports that 21-year-old Erica Calloway of Henderson, Nevada, and Yuyun Zhu, 46, of Flushing, New York, were charged Tuesday with prostitution, while Jason Flaster, 30 years old, of Trumbull, 38-year-old Gandhi Nikjun of Wilton, 30-year-old Anthony Girardi of Bridgeport, and 27-year-old Chad Sulo of Milford were charged with patronizing a prostitute. Now, all were released on written promises to appear in court. Police said detectives placed advertisements on the websites Backpage, City Vibe, and Craigslist with a telephone number. Now, in each case, police said the man answered the ad and agreed to meet with an undercover officer posing as the prostitute at a room at the Homewood Suites. Now, police said each man was arrested after they handed money to the undercover officer and began undressing. Now, in the case of the 2 women, police said undercover officers answered advertisements on Backpage and agreed to meet each woman in a room at a hotel. The women were arrested after they accepted money. And NBC Connecticut reports that Groton police are looking into a report of tainted candy handed out to a toddler on Halloween Tuesday night. Now, a mother called police to say her 1-year-old child suffered a finger injury while handling the candy. Police did not say exactly how the candy was tainted, and they have not yet been able to determine where the candy came from. Now, police are urging parents in Groton to throw away any candy received unless they know it came from a trusted source. Officers from both the patrol and detective divisions are investigating that incident. And Governor Daniel P. Malloy used his line item veto to reject a new taxing arrangement on hospitals, but he signed into law the bulk of a new 2-year state budget negotiated without direct input from his administration. The Connecticut Mirror reports that the governor signed a $41.3 billion biennial plan that closes major projected deficits while boosting taxes close to $500 million per year, cutting municipal aid, higher education, and social services, and sweeping tens of millions of dollars annually from energy conservation programs. Now, it also would provide emergency assistance to keep Hartford out of bankruptcy, implement a stringent spending cap, and enact a new statutory limit on borrowing. And in Wilton, the Wren Dumpling and Noodle Restaurant at 14 Danbury Road reported that 150 gallons of cooking oil in a barrel was stolen from outside the eatery sometime between October 27th and October 30th. Now, Wilton police say the used cooking oil has resale value, and it's not the first time that this has happened in town. All right, taking a turn now, let's throw it over to Frank Granito for a look at your forecast. Frank.
Well, thank you, Kate. We are looking at mostly cloudy skies for today. A high around 57 degrees as it is a little bit cooler out. Seeing wind gusts between 6 to 10 miles per hour. Pretty consistent through the day and heading into tonight, a low of 52 as it starts to get a little more mild out before what's going to be a warmer Thursday around the conference. We could see a couple of scattered showers in parts of Fairfield County tomorrow morning. After that, though, around noon through the afternoon, mostly cloudy out, warmer temperatures in the low 70s. Mild again overnight, that cloud cover continuing on into Friday morning, which will be another warm one as well for you. Temperatures again in that low 70 range. Cloudy and mild in the morning. We could see an afternoon shower or two around Fairfield County, but it will start to cool down overnight. Temperatures falling to the low 40s. That'll do it for this weather update. Let's go back over to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. We're going to step out for a break. When we come back, Donald Eng joins us to take a look back on this day in history. Frank has your Nutmeg Sports Update, and we have more local news after this.
Voted best gourmet to go in Fairfield County, Palmer's extensive menu offers everything you'll need to make your next event easy and delicious. Whether you're hosting a small get-together or planning a large celebration, they've got you covered breakfast through dessert. Order online at palmersdarien.com or call 203-655-2077.
Now teeing off, Paul Miller from Miller Nissan in Fairfield.
Excuse me, Mr. Miller. What about my new Sentra?
Right now, lease a 2017 Sentra S for only $97 a month.
He is never going to retire.
Bankwell combines the best personalized service with high-tech banking features for our customers' convenience. We pride ourselves on being a strong community partner. You don't settle for average in anything else you do. Why settle for an average bank? Don't just bank when you can bank well instead. Visit mybankwell.com for more. Manfredi New Canaan is celebrating 3 exceptional years selling Rolex watches and fine jewelry to the Fairfield County community. We appreciate all our loyal clients and look forward to welcoming and helping you discover the perfect gift to celebrate life's most important occasions.
At InSports Trumbull, the game is always on inside. Registration is now open for our fitness training programs for high school athletes. The InSports Performance Center is offering blast speed classes, athletic functional movement assessments, and both men's and women's elite speed and strength training. Our premier programs help bring athletes to the next level. Call 203-268-1214 for more information. Like and follow us on Facebook.
Welcome back to this November 1st edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. Time to take a look back on this day in history with Donald Eng. Don.
Well, Kate, one American legend appears on film courtesy of another American legend. First, we go back to 1765. The British Parliament enacts the Stamp Act on the 13 colonies to help pay for British military operations in North America, operations like, the French and Indian War. The act required all legal documents to be written on paper, printed in England, and carrying an embossed revenue stamp. Colonists considered the tax to be a violation of their rights as British subjects to only be taxed with their consent, i.e., they would only accept taxes from colonial legislatures since there were no colonists representing them in Parliament. 1938, 4-year-old Seabiscuit defeats War Admiral in an upset during the match race deemed the match of the century in horse racing. Now, War Admiral was the 1937 Triple Crown winner and Horse of the Year. Interestingly, Seabiscuit was 4, War Admiral was 3, but War Admiral is technically Seabiscuit's uncle, since Man o' War was War Admiral's sire and Seabiscuit's grandsire. 1960. While campaigning for president, John F. Kennedy announces the idea of a Peace Corps, the purpose of which would be to make available to interested countries and areas men and women of the United States qualified for service abroad and willing to serve under conditions of hardship if necessary to help the peoples of such countries and areas in meeting their needs for trained manpower, or we'll just say the Peace Corps, everyone knows what that is. Kennedy would sign the executive order creating the Peace Corps 4 months later. Since then, more than 220,000 Americans have served in 141 countries. Finally, now we go to 1894 for a little grainy footage there of that is Annie Oakley being filmed by Thomas Edison and with the assistance of a really, really brave producer there. You're going to see that in a second. The 34-year-old Oakley had appeared in Buffalo Bill's Wild West show as early as age 15, but being on film made her the biggest attraction in the show, earning nearly as much as Sitting Bull for appearing with Buffalo Bill. That is your look back in history for today, November 1st, and I'm Donald Lang.
All right, thanks so much, Don. Well, in other local news, Republican candidate for First Selectman of New Canaan, Kevin Moynihan, who was a classmate of Paul Manafort at Georgetown University and was photographed with him at the Republican National Convention in 2016 when Manafort was Donald Trump's campaign chairman, said this week that he was an acquaintance of Manafort, but never friends. Now, Moynihan responded to an inquiry from our New Canaan Advertiser about his relationship with Manafort, who this week was charged with federal crimes, including conspiracy against the U.S., conspiracy to launder money, failure to file reports of foreign banks and financial accounts, as well as unregistered agent of foreign principal and false statements. Now, Moynihan was a supporter of Trump's campaign, and he said he is merely an acquaintance of Manafort from being classmates at Georgetown. Now, the First Selectman candidate also served on Trump's Transition Finance Committee, and that, he said, was because of Charlie Glazer and Greenwich, not Manafort. Well, in that role, he helped raise money for the transition expenses. Moynihan said he sees no relevance of his college classmate relationship to his running for office of New Canaan. But you can get more at ncadvertiser.com. And Connecticut's U.S. senators, both Democrats, have called on Republicans in Congress to support a $45 billion bill they say takes real action to combat the opioid crisis confronting the nation. Now, Connecticut senators were joined by 17 other senators, including in the act, the legislation would invest the same amount of dollars proposed by Senate Republicans earlier this year for prevention, detection, surveillance, and treatment of addiction, they said. One of the other senators who supports it is Senator Edward Markey, who spoke after last Thursday's announcement by President Trump declaring the opioid crisis a public health emergency. Markey criticized the president for not committing emergency funds to fight the epidemic, saying Trump offered the country a Band-Aid when we need a tourniquet. That, according to thehill.com. Well, the Trump administration officials have argued that the national emergency designation would have been too broad an undue burden on the disaster relief fund and not the right call for a lengthy crisis. And in other news, a brewery has applied to the Milford Planning and Zoning Board for a permit to establish a brewing operation with an associated pub and patio at 100 Raton Drive. Now, the board will conduct a public hearing on Wednesday, November 8th at 7:30 p.m. in the City Hall Auditorium. The Wednesday meeting is a change from the board's usual Tuesday meetings due to Election Day. Now, the applicant is Tribus Beer of Milford, which lists Sebastian D'Agostino, Sean O'Neill, and Matthew Weichner of Milford as managers and members of the LLC. 6 other people are also listed as members of that LLC, and they have applied for a special exception for a brewery with a pub and patio. Now, the 2.2-acre property is located near the cul-de-sac on Raton Drive. The property is zoned light industrial and has a 15,000-square-foot building that is a warehouse with an office. More on that story at milfordmirror.com. And an open house for 8th graders from Bridgeport, Easton, Fairfield, Milford, Monroe, Orange, Reading, Shelton, Stratford, and Trumbull is being held at the Trumbull Regional Agri-Science and Biotechnology Center this week, which is located at 536 Daniels Farm Road in Trumbull. Now, 8th graders and their parents will learn about the regional 4-year high school program specializing in animal science, floral design, biotechnology, as well as equine science, natural resources, and much more. Now, all are welcome to attend the open house, and that's this Thursday, November 2nd, from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. or from 7 to 8. For more information, you can also call 203-452-4200. All right, let's throw it back over to Frank Granito now for a Nutmeg Sports Update. Frank.
All right, Kate. Well, unfortunately, no teams in action across the board yesterday for the FCIAC as we had Halloween being celebrated. Today, though, we've got plenty more going on. We didn't get a chance yesterday, though, to show you the highlights of Greenwich's 2-0 semifinal win in boys soccer as they advance to the FCIAC championship game. We've got them now. Let's take a look back Monday night when the Cardinals booked their spot in the FCIAC championship.
How about the display of speed, though, by Ruiz? As a free ball out in front, and they score! What an absolute rocket off the foot of Martin Garcia. There's a ball towards the cage.
He got it. He got it. Kwok got it.
Oh, here we go.
And you see Lucas Araujo trying to plead his case. Kwok was brought down. The referee saw it, and he called it.
It'll be Garcia again. Excuse me, it'll be Garcia who will take the kick. Gianluca Trofa to defend.
A big moment here. If Trofa can save this, save the game.
As the shot, it is stopped. The rebound, though, is buried to the back right corner. It's 2-0 Cardinals. On the outside, looking for help. Cuts back to the middle and tries to send one upfield. It is cut off. Sent along the sideline, and the championship is set. It'll be number 2 Greenwich and number 5 Trumbull. Cardinals a 2-0 win over Norwalk here tonight.
So Greenwich will take on Trumbull in the FCIAC championship for the 2nd consecutive year. That game is tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Today, the girls soccer championship will be decided, or at least the 2 teams will be decided for that matter. The semifinals resume. You have got you have Staples taking on Ridgefield in the first game, and then you will see Wilton and Trumbull in the other. We will be at Ridgefield High School this afternoon for girls volleyball. The final final matchup is taking place today. Staples and Ridgefield in the 3-6 matchup. That game starts at 4:30. Kevin Coleman and I will be on the air at 4:15. Before any more tongue twisters now get me, let's go back over to Kate Czaplinski.
All right. Thanks so much, Frank. Well, we are going to step out for a break, and when we come back, we're going to recap some of the top stories we're following on your coffee break after this.
Wild Birds Unlimited.
What's going on with the fingers over there?
Get expert advice from our certified bird feeding specialists. We offer always fresh, clean seed that will be sure to attract birds to your home feeder. Experience our excellent customer service. Open 7 days a week. Visit us at 317 Federal Road, Brookfield.
Wild Birds Unlimited. We bring people and nature together.
If you've ever thought about owning a motor coach or learning about what it's like to travel the open road in superior style and comfort, then contact Dave's RV Center in Danbury, Connecticut. Offering the best quality Class A motorhomes from Newmar, travel trailers and fifth wheel lines from Surveyor, and a toy hauler line from Work and Play. Choose from Newmar's Gas Line, Base Star and Canyon Star, or from Newmar's Diesel Line, Ventana and Dutch Star. And with unparalleled service and maintenance, Dave's RV is committed to keeping you and your motor coach safely on the road and enjoying it to the fullest.
I will stop
by their showroom, 2 Industrial
candy.
Plaza Road, Danbury, Connecticut, or call 877-483-3866.
Whether you're looking for a great test prep program, tutoring to boost your grades, or a blast-off toward the college of your dreams, C2 Education is here to help. There is nothing one-size-fits-all about our programs. We offer customized tutoring and test prep for each student. Call us today at 203-423-3328.
At Rings End, we say it's time to re-love your home. Time to refresh and reinvigorate the way you live. And whether you're redoing something big or small, remember the letters RE stand for Rings End. We're the new model in home remodeling.
UK Gourmet is the largest specialty grocer in the area, featuring food from England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. Over 80 teas to choose from and a brilliant assortment of biscuits to go with them. over 70 cheeses from grass-fed cows, which makes a smashing difference in taste. The creamiest chocolate you'll ever taste using no artificial colors or preservatives. So say hooray for UK Gourmet, 78 Stony Hill Road in Bethel, or visit ukgourmet.us.
Edition of your coffee break on the HAN network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, recapping some of the top stories we're following today. A 17-year-old Ridgefield boy was transported to Danbury Hospital after he was struck by a car on Nutmeg Ridge around 7:30 p.m. last night. Now, an eyewitness said that a car was rolling down the hill and the teen was trying to stop it. Firefighters on the scene said that the teen was dragged about 10 feet and was pinned under the car for quite a while before being extricated. Now, Nutmeg Ridge residents Jared and Mari Miles, who were not home at the time of the accident, said the incident took place in their front yard. The couple told our Ridgefield Press that the boy was visiting their neighbor who witnessed the accident. The witness explained that the teen had parked his car on the side of the street and began walking away when he saw the car start to roll down the hill. He had reportedly forgotten to put it in park, and he ran after it and went in front of the car to try to stop it, but the car picked up speed down the hill and ran him over, wedging him between the hill and the car. Now, according to the neighbor, the boy is in stable condition, though he suffered broken collarbones, bruised lungs, burns on his back, and punctures in his arms. You can look for updates on that story at theridgefieldpress.com. And in Reading, a family says in a lawsuit that its son did not have to die when he hanged himself at his Reading home in April 2016, and Reading Police Chief Doug Fuchs has been placed on paid leave of absence as the town investigates the claims. Now, the suit was filed by the family of Peter Valenti, who was found hanging from a noose in a shed outside his Blueberry Hill Road home on April 11, 2016. The man's body was mistaken for a dummy by the first police officer who found it. Then, according to another complaint, Fuchs refused to allow an emergency medical technician to check on Valenti, saying he was already dead. In addition to Fuchs, the Reading Police Department and police officers Jenna Matthews and Mark O'Donnell are also named in that lawsuit filed by Peter Valenti Jr., the father of the man. Now, also named as a plaintiff in the case is Joanne Valenti, the late Peter Valenti's mother. Reading Town Hall received the paperwork for the lawsuit, an almost 200-page document, on Thursday, October 5th. Now, an attorney said that Emergency Medical Services technician Sean Morris had wanted to help Valenti, but Fuchs did not allow him to, saying that Valenti was already dead. Now, attorneys filed a separate complaint almost immediately as it related to Fuchs's actions. Reading First Selectman Julia Pemberton said the case is a tragedy and her heart goes out to the family. But there's a lot more on that story at thereadingpilot.com. Stratford police conducted an undercover internet prostitution sting, arresting 2 alleged prostitutes and 4 alleged Johns. The Connecticut Post reports that 21-year-old Erica Calloway of Henderson, Nevada, and Yuyun Zhu, 46 years old of Flushing, New York, were charged Tuesday with prostitution, while 30-year-old Jason Flaster of Trumbull, 38-year-old Gandhi Nikuj of Wilton, 30-year-old Anthony Girardi of Bridgeport, and 27-year-old Chad Sulo of Milford were charged with patronizing a prostitute. Now, all were released on written promises to appear in court. Police said detectives placed advertisements on the website's Backpage, CityVibe, and Craigslist with a telephone number. In each case, police said the men answered the ad and agreed to meet with an undercover officer posing as a prostitute in a room at Homewood Suites. Now, police said each man was arrested after they handed money to the undercover officer and began undressing. Now, in the case of the 2 women, police said undercover officers answered ads on Backpage and agreed to meet each woman in a room at a hotel. The women were arrested after they accepted money. And NBC Connecticut reports today that Groton police are looking into a report of tainted candy handed out to a toddler on Halloween Tuesday night. A mother called police to say her 1-year-old child suffered a finger injury while handling the candy. Police did not say exactly how the candy was tainted, and they have not yet been able to determine where it came from. Police are urging parents in Groton to throw away any candy received unless they know it came from a trusted source. Officers from both the patrol and detective divisions are investigating that incident. All right, let's take one final look at the forecast with Frank Granito. Frank.
Thank you, Kate. Again, mostly cloudy out today, and it's looking like it's going to stay that way for the next few days. A little cooler today, though, a high of around 57, a light breeze. It'll start to get a little bit mild overnight, though. Temperatures in the low 50s before what's going to be a little bit of a warm stretch here Thursday and Friday. Both days, we're going to see temperatures in the low to mid 70s, mostly cloudy for the duration of the end of the work week. We might see a morning shower on Thursday, followed up with another passing shower or 2 Friday afternoon. But other than that, just warm, mild clouds before what looks like will be a cooler weekend filled with a little bit of sun. That'll do it for this weather update. Make sure you stay with us this afternoon. 4:15, we're on the air at Ridgefield High, the girls volleyball quarterfinals. Number 3, Ridgefield, number 6, Staples, as the HAN Network's coverage of the 2017 FCX postseason continues on. Kate, back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. And of course, coming up at 12:30, CT Pulse, we're going to be previewing our live election night coverage, and you're going to hear our interviews with the Trumbull candidates running for first selectman. That at 12:30, but we're going to wrap things up here on your coffee break. We'll see you tomorrow at 11 with the latest local news and more. Have a great day.